Hello, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all at David Styles, where soul meets fashion and embrace your uniqueness. Today I welcome you all, at 11:20 minutes with David Styles. This was if you are new to our Instagram page, I would suggest you to follow our Instagram page, which is David underscore sisters. And if you are new over here at David Styles, I would give a short overview of David Styles to you. So David Styles is actually a unisex fashion brand that, rather than chasing the hype, we actually create our own. You could say right now we have, we've been planning to design our own set of, kind of our own designed dresses for the occasions as well that could be well fit for your ordinary ones as well, because at David Styles what we believe is that an outfit, why just an outfit? David Styles, why isn't, or why it cannot be the other brand? David Styles, is actually a brand that, you don't have to, push yourself to prove to somebody out there, who you are, who you wanna be, who you wanna pretend to look like, or to copy someone or somebody because they have worn that is why you wanna try this. No, instead what we can or we should be doing instead is what I like, what are my wishes for my own self, what I like to wear, what I like to prefer, and what are my options, what are my preferences, because this is my life. Okay, because if we step into that zone, into that area where we have our checklist in our hand of the world, thinking that no, this is a shade that people wear, so should I, or this is a shade that people actually chase towards, so that is why, because I prefer this shade, so because the world doesn't choose or doesn't include that shade into their parameters, so I should omit that, or I should avoid that, or I should put out of my life. So that shouldn't be. So David Styles is actually a unisex brand where you will get our signature pieces. Where, for an example, I'll mention over here of a few of our listed recently, and which has been sold out because we have only 1 to 2 pieces of all the signature pieces that we release on our store, and that is one that was a revelation of me. Second, it was refined in silence, and the recent one that was on 14th of February 2026, that was a little more of me, a little more of me. So I hope you wear it, I hope you get the meaning of it, and I hope you take for yourself, one for your family members, and for all your relatives, friends, colleagues, all your near and dear ones. And I would be there to give my feedback or my suggestion, not as a David Styles, but as a colleague. I would say you would be very well pleased, because this is not something that you are being forced to do, or you are just doing that thing for a purpose. To honor yourself is the very first basic thing that comes at David Styles, and to keep your preferences more clear, to keep your priority more clear is the very basic thing that comes at David Styles. Thing that we at David Styles do is our poems. We release poems, like it could be, you can take it as a seasonal. We, we don't actually upload all of those over here, but we have one at the Gumroad as well, and we quite a lot of times we do release over here at Instagram as well. So if you would like to have those poems, stories, or anything, if you have any feedbacks in your minds or ideas or thoughts that you would like to share with us, we are very well, would be honored to have it discussed with us, have it shared over here, and we would be privileged to have that and to work on it. And so first is our signature pieces that we release. The second is with the poems that release, thoughts, motivational. You can actually find two books that we have released as well. That is one, you can actually go through our Instagram page as well, so you can find it over there. And overall, it's embrace your uniqueness, because I would at the end, I don't know, many a times I must have shared in my 11-20 minutes what David Styles video as well. Again, at the end of this video, I would share that why to know, I would actually want people to know more closer, not just the David Styles, but to know our own self each day, with every passing day, to know ourselves much more deeper, because when we understand our own self, there is nothing beyond that in this world that you would be able to feel that fulfillment in your own self, because you are worth it. That is why you're worth it, because when you discover your own self, you would be able to surpass your own self, your imagination, your thoughts, your perspective, your expectations, your imagination. So that is why, and to share with you all, why is it where soul meets fashion, is that where soul meets fashion, the idea, the tagline came from an idea. Why? Because I see a lot of people try these generation, today's generation, we actually follow the trends, follow what the other people are running towards, but at the end, if we introspect our own self, at the end, when we look back to ourselves, knowing that why am I chasing? What am I chasing? And what is the purpose for it? When we there are times and there will be times, and if you haven't found that moment, no problem. Just you can actually invest few of the seconds or few of the minutes with your own self. You would be able to analyze whole situations, moments, thoughts, your ideas, your purpose, your plans, everything just in front of you. And if you haven't got that, you don't have to force, because in our lives there is always a moment, there will always a moment where we will be getting through our ideas, thoughts and everything, where am I, where am I, what I have to do, what is my purpose, what am I doing, who am I. So these are some of the little questions that we at some point of our times would be actually asking our own self. And when we actually get the answers to all the questions, to the very basic questions for our own self, which is the most basic essential of our being human, and that is the wonderful thing, to be known your own self, and that is nothing more important, more significant part of your life other than knowing your own self. And that is why we're so miss fashion. It is why, because people tend and sometimes pretend to be somebody else and losing themselves, and initially we don't actually recognize, we don't believe our own self, know where we are going through. So it is very much important factor for us to actually stop for a while and to actually know what what is the one thing that I'm losing, or what is that what is that one thing that I have my foundation, or I am on a right path. So you won't feel that regret in your heart, or you won't feel that pressure on your mind till you are yourself. Why it is said to be yourself is why, because when you try to pretend to be somebody else, one day or the other there will be a point of time when you will be drained a lot. You will be actually drained a lot, because this whole life is not just about chasing money or related to money. Because one thing also what I realized, and these few days I'm actually I quite a lot of times enjoy I quite a lot of times do notice people, their behaviors, their actions, their words, everything. When you start analyzing people, not judging, it's not about judging, but it's about getting to know yourself. You can get a variety, you can get a more broader perspective in your own ideas, in your own imaginations, and that is incredible. You are not there to judge anybody else, but you are there to learn something. Maybe you would be at a place that you are just there at a spot which seems so common to you, but you could, or you might take something important, take something that you were actually not knowing. You weren't a part of it, you weren't aware of it. And when you start realizing that, that is something that you will feel so wonderful, that you will always feel that I should chase that. I should actually analyze people, and this is not something right now that you always take your resumes and just go ahead and asking the companies to hire you. That why is it why is it that we as today's generation have to take our papers, have to take our resumes to reach out to the other companies out there, and to negotiating the salary? Not negotiating the salary, it's negotiating our importance, our positions, us as a human. We don't negotiate salaries, we don't negotiate uh, what time you would be checking in and what time you would be logging out off, or we are not negotiating anything. The only thing that we negotiate with the company out there between us is our time. And this time is something that we are consciously or unconsciously very much clear that we won't be able to return back on our time. And then why, when we are so much clear about it, then why are we just investing our time and health into something that is not giving any benefit? And today, why am I sharing this thing over here today in this video is because today this generation has become so, or you say this generation has evolved so far better, or we have come to an age where each and every person, what David Stiles believes is that each and every person is gifted, is so skillful, is so talented, is so filled with something or the other, is filled with something greater. It's only that we don't actually realize our potential areas, our skill areas, our nature, our most categorized moments, our most valuable thing. That is why we fall into the trap of negotiation, where negotiating between the employer and you and us. Why is that? We are at a position, we are at an era where we can, or each and every person has that quality that they can turn over head over heels. And you could be someone out of those personalities out there in today's generation, where the biggest stars, where the biggest millionaires or billionaires are seated over there. So there is nothing to be comparing of with somebody, or to find yourself here against them. No, everyone is at an equal level. Is just if there is a step one or two backwards or forward, is just the mentality, is just the perspective of how we perceive the things out there or ahead over us. And what we believe is that when you truly understand yourself, and that is why we over here say discover yourself, because when you discover yourself, you know your true potential areas. And when you know true potential areas, you know exactly where you need to invest yourself, where you need to invest your health, where you need to invest your time. And when you get all these things sorted out, your life gets sorted. You don't have to negotiate the basic thing, which, for an example, the basic thing or basic process of a human is to breathe. So you don't have to ask anybody else out there, or any individual out there, that should you be breathing. No. So you have the right, you as an individual can create something out of ordinary and be an extraordinary, when you give yourself that opportunity that yes, you can be. It doesn't matter that if you're not good at something, then you couldn't be good at the other area. So if you are not able or not good at singing, you could be well at painting. You can go ahead with that area and you can create a big, beautiful masterpiece. And so I'll be ending this video. So this is David Stiles, where soul meets fashion. Embrace your uniqueness. That's it. So because when you truly understand yourself, you know the true worth of you and true value of you. So when you value yourself, you value your life. And when you value your life, you would be able to create something like, when we as an individual, when each and every person on this planet, on this earth, understand the true wealth, true health, and true worth of your own self, that then you don't have to depend on anyone out there to be qualifying or employing you. You could be your own employer, who can create an opportunity for others out there. So that's it. For more, you can follow our Instagram page, which is David_Sister, where soul meets fashion. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.